Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Alvarez and this is Alvarez Metalworks. So today I broke out my Pro Temp Sunstream 70,000 BTU heater, real similar to a salamander style heater, with the exception it's got this big ceramic disc on it and it helps create more of a radiant heat than the salamanders have. It's a lot quieter than salamander, but there's some drawbacks to it. Number one is that, at least with this particular heater, they highly recommend that you use kerosene, okay? K1 kerosene, it's a pump kerosene here in this area. I can go get it at some of the gas stations. It's expensive though, it really is expensive. You know, gas prices right now for regular unleaded are below $2 a gallon, and this is like, I think it's $3.33 a gallon for kerosene. When gas prices were high, I paid like $7 a gallon one time for kerosene. That's ridiculous. So that's a big drawback. I know a lot of the salamander styles allow you to use diesel. I can use diesel in this, but I'm gonna have to clean it up a lot more frequently. You do have to clean these things as part of the regular maintenance. I've never cleaned this because I haven't used it enough to clean it. And I've only burned kerosene in it. So, with that being said, I broke this thing out. I haven't used it since last year. You saw when I first started it up here in this video. That's the first time it fired up in a little bit over a year. You saw a little bit of flames coming out of that. That's not normal. There must have been dust or whatever sitting inside of this thing from sitting for so long. You know, that's something that you normally won't see. You may see a small plume of smoke when it first starts and a small plume of smoke when it turns off, but that's about it. It burns real clean, it doesn't stink, at least if you're using kerosene, it doesn't stink. The instructions do say that they highly recommend, if you're using this like in a garage or something, that you open your garage door up maybe about 2-3 inches to get some airflow. These things do create carbon monoxide. You don't want to poison yourself, and you know, if you know anything about carbon monoxide poisoning, you don't smell it, you don't taste it, you just start to get tired and pass out and don't wake up. So be careful with them. Even salamanders are the same way. Be careful with them, they generate carbon monoxide. This thing works pretty good. I've got some complaints about it that are legit, and then I got some complaints about it that are, it's not the product, it's more that it just doesn't suit my needs. Okay, if I had to just go straight out, if you asked me, would I buy this thing again, I would say no. Okay, why would I say no? Because number one, it's expensive. Kerosene's very expensive, and I don't think it's as efficient as it should be when it comes to dollars versus the amount of heat you get. And quite simply, it doesn't heat my shop up nowhere near enough, okay? 70,000 BTUs is clearly not enough BTUs to heat up my shop. My shop is a little bit short of 1,300 square feet. This company says that these are rated to heat up a 1,300 square foot shop, but they're clearly talking about an insulated one, not one with single pane windows, broken windows, leaky roofs, garage doors that aren't insulated, huge gaps in the walls and doors that I had to use spray foam this year to try to fill up. You know, they're not considering that. Last year when I ran this thing, it was a little bit shy of being 30 degrees in my shop, not outside, in the shop. The hottest I could get it after running this thing for hours was 45 degrees. It's a 15 degree jump. That's just not enough. 45 degrees is still damn cold, okay? So, does it suit my needs? No, okay? It does suit my needs in certain aspects, but not when it comes to heating up my entire shop. If I'm just working on something, like let's say if I was like changing the tires or doing the brakes on this car, I can point this thing in my direction, I'll stay plenty warm and I'll be able to get the job done, it'll be great. You know, if you're needing something for a job like that you're not planning on running this thing for hours on end, this may be what you need. You know, the cost versus the amount of heat you get is still terrible, but you're not using it enough to notice those differences. This is more on the expensive side because of the ceramic face on it versus like a salamander, but it does work good. It just doesn't work good in my shop for what I hoped it would do. And to be perfectly honest, I'm asking a lot of this thing. So, you know, my shop is going to need some serious heat. When I have my barrel stove hooked up and I'm running this thing at full tilt, I've got the barrel packed full of wood and the thing's roaring. My shop will get fairly warm in here on really, really cold days. I can get it to be about 70 something, maybe creeping up on 80 degrees in here. You know, that's enormous and a lot of fuel being consumed to get my shop to that temperature. And to ask this little heater to do the same thing is kind of asking a lot. So I gotta own up to that. Let's speed this up. Here's some features. Number one, there's an outlet right underneath that white sticker. Let me see if I can, that white sticker right underneath it, there's a 110 outlet. So when you're plugged into this, because you do have to plug it in for the fan and everything to work, it gives you a power outlet. You know, I don't know what the amperage rating is on it. It's got to be at least 15 amps. I forget those, don't hold me to it. Right here is a fuel gauge. It's very hard to read from way up here, but you can, you know, it's accurate. It's a float cell, so you know the fuel gets sloshing around, the thing starts moving around too. The big issue with this that a lot of people complain about is the fuel fill. It's very large, plenty of room to, you know, put a big funnel or whatever and pour it in there and not waste a lot of time. But the big issue is this. Now you see it, now you don't. They've designed this very poorly. It's directly underneath this control box. So what I did, you know, I've got my Swiss fuel can, Swiss style fuel can, and you see the black transmission fluid funnel above it. I went to Harbor Freight, picked up that funnel, and cut about 4 inches off the length of the, you know, the end of it. What that did is it gave me a larger hole, larger diameter hole for the fuel to flow through, which allows it to flow faster. But it's still tall enough where I can set it in here and it angles away and I can pour it in without any spillage. You're going to need something like that if you choose to get this. That's just quite simply a bad design on their part, but something that you definitely need to be aware of. A lot of people, you know, they see that and they run into that problem and they immediately get pissed off. So it's important that I show that to you. There is a little bit of assembly required when you get it. You have to put this grill together and that little heat shield at the bottom. I don't remember if you have to put the handle on it. As far as its weight, when the thing's empty, it's not heavy at all. When it's full of fuel, I mean, fuel's heavy. You're gonna this thing will hold about 4 gallons, I think. And I'm just judging by, that's a 5-gallon can. And I think there's about a gallon left in that can and this thing's completely topped off. So, you know, 4 gallons of liquid, anything is pretty heavy. So add that to the weight of the heater, and when it's full of fuel, it is fairly heavy. But just set it in position and then fill it up. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video so I don't drag this out too long. I just wanted to show you guys this real quick just because I started this up and I know I've never done a review on it. Those are my thoughts on it. For some people this may suit your needs. For me, it suits my needs only if I'm like working on a car and I'm pointing it in that direction. I broke it out because I'm gonna try to create a paint booth for this car here by hanging plastic from the trusses, and I'm gonna put this heater inside that booth, and hopefully with the confined space it will heat up that area to the temperatures that I need it to be able to do the painting and allow the paint to cure properly. So it's more of an experiment. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Make sure you check out RourkeSupply.com. They're my sponsor, my channel sponsor. A thank you to you from them and me is a 10% discount on anything you order from them. Use coupon code METAL during checkout and you'll get that discount. If you have to call them to ask them questions, be sure to let them know that Alvarez Metalworks sent you and that you want to use the coupon code to get your 10% off. So, that being said, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.